Hello, folks. Hope everyone's doing well. Thought I would talk about the fruits of centering prayer. Now, the first thing I'll say is we enter centering prayer, or we enter silence with no expectations. We really enter because we want to sit with God, and that is it, and see what happens. And it's what happens is really up to God. So the bottom line is we enter the silence of our centering prayer sits, or whatever your practice is, with no expectations other than to open to God, open to the presence and actions of God within, and let God act. We let go. We sit because we love God. I want to read a quote that I like from the classic contemplative book, The Cloud of Unknowing. Lift your heart up to the Lord with a gentle stirring of love, desiring him for his own sake and not for his gifts. So that's really why we sit in the silence of whatever our practice is, because we love God, and that is it. Now, the neat thing that seems to happen, though, is God graces us. And it's not during our silent sits, but it's after our sits. You might notice fruits of your practice, or other people might notice the fruits of your practice. And that's really a blessing from God. It's not why we enter our sits. And I've even noticed in my life, now that I've been practicing, some fruits that I just did not have before my practice. An excitement for life. I've enjoyed living life. I enjoy life, but I have a bigger excitement for life now that I've been practicing centering prayer than previous. And I think that's a neat thing. I have an excitement for life, to live life, and what life has to offer. I have confidence that I just didn't have. I would never be doing these Facebook Lives, for example, or I get out in the community and speak in front of people and talk about silence and centering prayer. I never would have had the courage to do that. And then even my day job, I handle corporate accounts, 401k plans, and talk to a lot of people at companies. And I wouldn't have the confidence to do that the way I do it if it wasn't for my centering prayer practice. Wisdom for tasks. I strongly believe I get wisdom for my daily tasks, whether they're at home or work, as a result of my centering prayer practice. Centering prayer has taught me that I am not my thoughts. I can take a step back and I can observe them. And just like during centering prayer when we let go, I can let go of the thoughts that just don't serve me and hold on to the ones that do. Centering prayer has blessed me with more patience. I'm more willing to be patient with myself, with others, with my children, with friends and family members. I'm more present to life, see things and notice things more so than I noticed prior to my practice. I'm an introvert and I enjoy listening, but I think I'm even better at it. I enjoy listening to people and hearing their stories. So I'm better at listening. I'm more present and I'm better at listening to people. Centering prayer has taught me to get out of my comfort zone. And this is obviously one way of just getting on Facebook and talking to people and being vulnerable, and getting out in front of church communities and teaching centering prayer and being vulnerable. And I even do one-on-one coaching and just getting out there and talking with people and helping people and being vulnerable. And lastly, a fruit is centering prayer helps you become your true self. Who is your true self? The person God wants you to be. And the neat thing about that is that changes over your lifetime. So my true self this year looks different than my true self next year. And that's really, really exciting. So the bottom line is the fruits of centering prayer are unique for each practitioner, and that's very exciting. I think of centering prayer as a reverse prayer. God prays in us the actions he would like us to take even for that very day. God even prays in us what we might need for that day, whether it's wisdom or peace or calmness or whatever, removal of a fear. God will do this during centering prayer. One thing to remember is silence is not escape from the world. It prepares us to engage the world. Silence teaches us to be present, and that's where God is. God is in the present with us. I think of it as I sit with God during centering prayer so I can get up and walk with God in life. So the bottom line is for centering prayer is just to show up. It's a long-term marathon with God. And if you're faithful to your practice, whatever your practice is, it doesn't have to be centering prayer, your practice will be faithful to you. So whatever your contemplative practice is, and mine is centering prayer, practice daily, weekly, monthly, yearly will transform you. But again, as I began this little talk, the fruits of centering prayer, we do not enter them with any expectations. We enter them because we love God. We want to sit with God. We want God to transform us. We want to trust God. That's really why we enter them. But then God has his own plans, and he blesses us with many fruits, and some of them may totally surprise you, and it's a wonderful gift and blessing from God. So that's all. I simply wanted to pop on and talk a little bit about the fruits of centering prayer. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the day or evening, wherever you are, and take care, everybody.